Hello, today we are going to the world of revenge, and by that I mean the subreddit PettyRevenge. Let's get started. Deaf Revenge. Seeing a post I just recently saw about a lady speaking back in Japanese to a rude waiter reminded me of something that happened several years ago. My friends and I were at lunch at work. About 3 of us were deaf out of the 8 of us. We were talking and getting by just fine. I glanced across from me, this young couple's looking at us. I caught the lady speaking quietly, lip-reader, to the guy saying, "It's funny how deaf people talk, so stupid." I wasn't very far from her, so I said out loud to my group that some hearing people don't get that deafies can read lips, so stupid. After that, I quickly glanced at them with a glare. They were red in the face, walked off. On to the next story. Foreign waiter was rude in his language, so I returned the favor. Tonight, I went out with my teacher and a few other students to celebrate us passing our super hard AP college credit equivalent test. We went to a Japanese-style restaurant, and for context, our waiter was in fact Japanese. We all ordered a lot of food, and we were having a great time when I overheard our waiter talking to another waiter in Japanese. He said, "That blonde girl is so fat, she shouldn't have ordered all that food." As you can guess by now, I understood what he was saying because I speak Japanese. In fact, everyone at my table speaks Japanese because our teacher is our Japanese teacher, and the test we all passed was our AP Japanese language test. My teacher noticed I was just picking at my food and asked what was wrong. I told my teacher, and I was upset at first about having been called fat. He must have overheard it too and was hoping that I hadn't heard it. He assured me that some people are just rude and that I can eat all I want because we're all celebrating. Everyone else had ordered a lot of food for themselves too. I was still a little bothered though, and so I hatched my little plan. The rude waiter came back and asked us how everything was. I spoke up and said, "It's great, we're celebrating and the food is perfect for us celebrating." He replied, "Oh, that's great. What are you all celebrating?" To which I said, in Japanese, "We are all celebrating our passing test scores on our college Japanese language exams." His face was beautiful. That look of realization and the glance over the table at my smiling peers and my sensei holding in his laughter. However, the waiter did not apologize for what he had said, so I didn't leave him a tip on my meal. Everyone else did on theirs. On the back of my receipt I wrote, "Please think before you speak out loud." Okay, this may not be the best petty revenge story, but it does make me feel better. Plus, my peers and sensei got a kick out of it. Edit. It was brought to my attention that I should have stated in the beginning that this is an entry from my diary. I just got on Reddit and having the guts to post, and I wanted to preserve how I had written it in my diary as much as I could. This story is actually from last May, as that is when AP tests are proctored. Edit 2. Oh my gosh, thank you for the opposite of chewing me out. I was so nervous to actually start posting on Reddit, but I'm glad I have. Thank you so much for the gold, upvotes, and awesome comments, you wonderful people you. The next story is called Dumpster Scare. I work at a petrol station in Australia, and we have a limited amount of room for car parks, the ones who don't need fuel. There are 4 parks right in front of the dumpster areas. The dumpsters have high wooden fences and gates around them to keep them out of sight, I suppose. But this means if a car parks really close to them, we cannot open the gates to put out the garbage. There is always someone who parks way too close when we need to take out garbage. Often it is someone just stopping and checking their phones. Some see me with the rubbish and signal that they are sorry and move back a meter or so for me. Others just stare at me as if I'm the scum of the earth. I've asked people to move in the past, and most are more than willing. So I'm taking out the rubbish, and there's a relatively expensive looking car real close to the gates, a foot or so away. No way I can open it or squeeze through. I see the driver in the car and give him a wave to get his attention. He ignores me. I go to his window and say, "Excuse me, would you mind backing up a little so I can get to the bins?" He responds with, "You got plenty of space, don't be lazy." So that makes no sense on any level, so I shrug and move to the gate. I grab the handle and make a motion as though I'm going to wrench it open as hard as possible and smash it into his car. I hear an audible gasp and a honk as he panics. It's the car horn. I turn to him questioningly. "You said I've got plenty of room." He goes red in the face, starts the car, and backs up a few feet. I open the gate and chuck the rubbish. But he must have decided he was done and then just drives off. I will never understand human beings, I swear. The title of the next story is, Won't Pay for Your Taxi Fare? Okay, I'll enjoy your bottle of vodka. This isn't my story. I work in a petrol station, and this customer I had last night had the time to tell me a story of how some scumbag ran off without paying his full fare. So he picked up some guy to take him home. During the drive, the guy asked the driver, "Hey, how much will this be?" The driver tells him 15 pounds. The guy says, damn, mind if we stop at the nearest cash point? I don't have cash. So the driver stops at a petrol station, not the one I work at. When the guy gets out of the vehicle, he leaves his bag behind. The driver had a gut feeling this guy is probably up to something, so he goes into his bag and finds a bottle of vodka. He grabs it and hides it in the glove compartment, thought to himself he'll return this to him if he actually pays him. So the guy returns and hands the driver 10 pounds. The driver looks at him as if to say, "Where's the 5 pounds?" The guy tells him he'll get his 5 pounds when he drops him off home. Of course, the driver doesn't seem too worried since he's holding vodka hostage. The guy asks the driver to drop him off miles away from his house. He grabs his bag and tells the driver, "Okay, wait here, I'll fetch that 5 pounds. So the driver waits a good 10-15 minutes and knows up to this point this guy isn't coming back. He calls the taxi office and asks if they'll send the guy's mobile number to him, which they did. So the driver calls him. The guy picks up the phone. "Hello?" The driver. "Hello, it's me, your taxi driver. Just reminding you I'm still waiting for you to return with the 5 pounds. Haha, what, mate? I drove you from said place to said place, and you paid me 10 pounds and the fare was 15 pounds. Fuck off, I don't owe you shit. Oh, okay, that's fine. If you just check your booze bag, you'll find you're missing a bottle of vodka." Guy checks his bag. "You better give me that back now. That vodka was 20 pounds. "Well, it must be good stuff then. Feel free to come back with the rest of my money." The guy then makes a threat saying he'll come down to the office, so the driver tells him, "Sure, come on down or get a taxi down. I don't care, but until you pay the rest of the fare, he'll be enjoying that vodka." Then the driver told me that's the last he heard of the guy, and the vodka is still in his cupboard as he's never had the time to actually drink it. The next story is called, Need Your Wallet Back? Had a friend ask me for a ride because she was in a sketchy neighborhood. I complied and picked her up and had a fun night and took her home. I found out that she had left her wallet at a store that we went to. I decided to be a good friend and go for it after. I had already arrived home, the store was a fair distance away from my house, and I was already in bed since it was fairly late. I go to pick it up. When I get there, I try calling her, find out I'm blocked on Instagram and my phone number. 3 days go by and I ask a mutual friend if she had posted on her story, come to find out she did. The worry about her being okay leaves my mind. Her ex-boyfriend attempts to text me on Instagram. I don't reply. She texted me today asking for her wallet. I decide, okay, I'll give you your wallet. I call the police and ask if they can come drop it off, fully knowing we are in different cities, so she would have to drive to my city for it. The police come, they call her and tell her she has to drive 30 minutes from her house if she wants to pick it up. The amount of anger and frustration that came from the phone was satisfying as hell. The final story for the day is, I don't deserve my driver's license? Fine, then you can walk home. I'm a female, and regardless of all the stereotypes, almost all of the people I've driven in my car have told me I'm a pretty good driver. And I love driving, so I don't mind giving someone a lift once in a while. So I was in a car with my friend. We were coming back from school. Her house was nearby, and the plan was for her to get out of the car right before I'd make my turn into my street. She later called me and said that my neighbor, whom we passed by, commented something awful. Since I was inside the car, I couldn't hear it, but as she was stepping out, she heard him say something along the lines of, "Which idiot gave you a fucking license, you motherfucker?" I was in shock at first. Didn't expect that of him. He was always so quiet, but you could always tell he secretly meant no good. That was months ago, and since then he's commented something snarky every time he's seen me drive. "Are you sure you're qualified enough to drive that? Do you even know where the brake is?" So, this very evening, I was coming home from the city around 10 p.m. I live about 30 minutes away from it if you were to walk. It's a 30-minute long, dimly lit road, terribly lonely, also pretty scary. You could catch a bus, however there are only a few buses throughout the entire day that you could take instead of going on foot or taking a taxi. Guess who was at the station waiting for a bus to arrive? My neighbor. I glanced at the clock and saw that no longer than 5 minutes a bus was there at the station, so he must have missed it. He was late. The next one wouldn't arrive until like 2 hours later. I didn't stop, I just kept driving, and through my rearview mirror I could see him turning his head and staring at my passing car in utter disbelief. To quote Regina George, "You can walk home, bitches." Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, click on that like button and be sure to leave a comment and let us know which subreddits you would like to see a video of. And please always subscribe. If you are still in the mood for more Reddit videos, click on one of the videos on the screen right now. They are really good, trust me.